My name is Rachel Miller. I've always thought of myself as a simple woman. At 43, I had settled into a comfortable life. I was a high school English teacher, a mother to two grown children, and a widow for almost 5 years. My days were filled with lesson plans, coffee breaks, and evenings curled up with a good book. Life was predictable, peaceful, until the weekend my son brought his college friend home. Ethan, my oldest, was home from college for spring break. He was 20 and always full of life. He brought along his friend Tyler, who had nowhere else to go during the break. Tyler was polite, respectful, and honestly quite charming. I'd met him once before during Ethan's freshman year and remembered thinking how mature he seemed for someone so young. Still, I never imagined I'd be sitting here today, replaying the events of that week over and over in my mind. The first few days were completely normal. The boys played video games late into the night, raided the fridge like starving wolves, and lounged around the house in basketball shorts and hoodies. I kept myself busy, cooking meals and giving them space to enjoy their break. Tyler always thanked me for dinner, helped clean up, and made small talk that seemed harmless at first. But then the compliments began. Small, innocent seeming at first. One night after dinner, Tyler stood next to me at the sink as I washed dishes and said, "You really don't look old enough to be Ethan's mom." I laughed, brushing it off. "Flattery will get you more dessert, you know." He grinned. "I'm just being honest. You've got great energy. It's refreshing." I tried not to read too much into it. I was used to high school boys making awkward comments in class. But Tyler wasn't a kid. He was 20, only 3 years older than my youngest. And there was something different in his eyes, a focus that lingered just a second too long. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering if I was imagining things. I told myself he was just being polite. Still, I couldn't shake the way he looked at me. The next morning, I caught Tyler in the kitchen making coffee. He turned and smiled, his eyes traveling up and down a little too obviously. "Morning, Mrs. Miller," he said smoothly. "Hope I didn't wake you." "No, I was already up," I replied, tightening the belt of my robe. "And it's Rachel, remember? You don't have to be so formal." "Rachel," he repeated, letting the name roll off his tongue like it meant more than it should have. "It suits you." I cleared my throat and busied myself with the toaster. "Where's Ethan?" "Still passed out," he said. "I think we played games until like 3 a.m. I nodded and grabbed a plate. Tyler leaned against the counter and watched me for a moment. "You really do everything around here, huh?" I shrugged. "That's kind of what moms do." "Yeah, but most moms I know don't do it with your kind of style," he said with a smirk. I turned to look at him. "Tyler." "I'm sorry," he said quickly. "I know it's probably weird. I just never mind." I didn't push further. I told myself it would pass. But as the days went on, Tyler's attention only grew more intense. One afternoon, Ethan had gone out to meet a friend from high school. Tyler stayed back, claiming he wanted to rest. I was in the living room folding laundry when he walked in. "Need help?" he asked. I glanced up. "I'm good, thanks." He walked over anyway, sat beside me, and started folding a t-shirt. We folded in silence for a few minutes before he spoke again. "I've been thinking about something," he said quietly. I looked at him, curious. "I know this might sound crazy, but I've felt something since the first time I met you. I didn't say anything before because, well, it felt wrong. But I can't keep pretending." I blinked. "Tyler, I like you," he said simply. "Not in a weird way. Not because you're older or because you're Ethan's mom. I just like you. You're smart, funny, beautiful. And you make this house feel like a real home." My heart was pounding. "You're Ethan's friend," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "I know. And I don't want to mess anything up. I just had to be honest." I stood up and took a deep breath. "I appreciate your honesty, Tyler. But this isn't appropriate. You're welcome in this home, but let's keep things respectful, okay?" He nodded, looking down. "Of course. I'm sorry." I walked away before I could say anything else. I needed space. I needed time to think. Why did his words affect me so much? Was it because no one had said something like that to me in years? Was it because deep down I missed being seen? I spent the rest of the day avoiding him, keeping myself busy with cleaning and errands. That night, I barely spoke at dinner. Ethan didn't seem to notice, too busy telling a story about his professor's pet parrot that apparently knew how to curse in 4 languages. Later that evening, Tyler knocked on my bedroom door. I opened it, surprised to see him standing there. "I'm not trying to push anything," he said. "I just wanted to say I meant what I said. But I'll respect your boundaries." "Thank you," I replied. "Good night, Tyler." He smiled gently and walked away. The next morning, I noticed a shift. He was polite but distant. Gone were the flirtatious looks, the lingering presence. And strangely, that made me feel something. I didn't want him to cross a line, but I also didn't want to feel invisible again. That night, I found myself standing in the doorway of the guest room. Tyler was sitting on the bed, scrolling through his phone. "I couldn't sleep," I said. He looked up. "Me neither." We didn't say much after that. I sat down beside him, and for a moment, we just sat in silence. "I wasn't lying," he said. "But I'll understand if we never talk about it again." "I've just been alone for a long time," I said softly. "And I don't know what any of this means." "Then let's not label it," he replied. "Let's just talk. Like 2 people." And that's what we did. We talked for hours about music, books, his childhood, my teaching experiences. I hadn't felt so connected in years. When Ethan came back from his late-night hangout, I had already left the room. The rest of the week passed in a strange calm. Tyler never crossed any lines, never said anything out of place. But I saw the way he looked at me, gentle, respectful, interested. When it was time for them to head back to college, he hugged me tightly. "Take care of yourself, Rachel," he whispered. "You too," I replied. After they left, the house felt empty. I sat alone on the couch, thinking about everything that had happened. Nothing truly happened in the traditional sense, but emotionally, something shifted. Something woke up inside me. A few days later, I got a message on my phone. "Tyler, hey. Just wanted to say I'm thinking about you. Hope you're doing okay." I stared at the message for a long time before typing back. "Me. I'm okay. And thank you for seeing me." Whatever the future holds, I don't know. But what I do know is that sometimes the most unexpected people remind us of who we really are and who we could be. And that weekend, my son's friend did exactly that. You wouldn't believe it, but I did.